Moana 2 has sailed into theatres and it's already breaking some pretty major box office records. All the details right here. As the Thanksgiving weekend box office data trickles in, Disney is celebrating some pretty major records for Moana 2, the sequel to their 2016 sleeper hit, which became the highest streamed movie on any streaming platform globally in 2023. Moana 2 is celebrating a gigantic $221 million opening, a huge boon for the studio, whose last two animated features bombed spectacularly at the box office. Disney states on their online press room, "That makes Moana 2 the highest 5-day opening of all time, surpassing the $204.6 million of 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie, and the highest Thanksgiving opening weekend box office, beating Frozen's $94 million total in 2014. It was also the highest 5-day Thanksgiving all-time box office, beating Frozen 2's second weekend of $125 million in 2019. Deadline further notes that this number makes Moana 2 the highest Thanksgiving debut of all time, the best Thanksgiving Day taking ever with $28 million, nearly doubling Frozen 2's $15 million, the highest ever Black Friday at the box office with $54.5 million, exceeding Frozen 2's $24.2 million, the best preview figure ever for Walt Disney Animation, and the best ever Tuesday before Thanksgiving for Disney. Disney also goes on to note, Disney is now responsible for the top 7 opening Thanksgiving weekends of all time, as well as 9 out of the top 10. Thanks to Box Office Mojo, we can see that the other Disney productions that grace that list are Frozen, Toy Story 2, the first Moana, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Coco, Tangled, The Good Dinosaur, and Enchanted. The only outlier here is MGM's Creed 2, which sneaks in at 9th place. On top of this, Moana 2 is celebrating a global opening of $386 million, another unprecedented number. This makes it the biggest ever global opening for a Walt Disney Animation film, and perhaps even more astounding, the biggest ever global opening for an animated film ever, edging out the Super Mario Bros. Movie by a near $10 million. While I was pretty lukewarm on Moana 2 myself, and if you want to see my full thoughts on the movie, you can check out my review linked above or at the end of the video, it was a near certainty that the movie was going to do huge numbers at the box office. Disney perhaps made a very rushed and a bizarre decision in releasing something that was designed for streaming, a lower budgeted kind of lesser production, and reworking it into a theatrical film. I think this is going to be very successful for Disney because, the first movie has had a second life. There are going to be parents and children just absolutely rushing out to this thing. It's probably going to make a bucket load of money. So financially, Disney has probably made a very good decision with this move. It's probably a very good move. However, Moana 2 has defied all the odds by trouncing all box office projections by a near $100 million. The movie has been well received by audiences, despite a more tepid reaction from critics. There's no doubt we'll have Moana sequels abound in the following years. It's not bad for a movie cobbled together from the remains of a planned Disney Plus series. On the whole, this has been a gigantic year for movies, and Disney is now responsible for the top 3 domestic openings of 2024, with Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, and now Moana 2. Inside Out 2, of course, earlier this year, went on to become the biggest animated film of all time at the box office. And with gigantic takings from all the movies this Thanksgiving weekend, I think it's clear to say that the movies have got their mojo back, baby. On a perhaps more somber note, this continues an ongoing discussion in the film world, with general audiences once again showing studios that they value sequels and remakes more than original features, even though they'll have you believe they want more original features and are always complaining about sequels. These are the movies that audiences are actually turning out for, and it's going to send the studios a very, very dire message that they're going to take very seriously. This almost certainly quashes any major original features or experiments from the studios in the near future. And at that, I want to know your thoughts. Are you surprised by Moana 2's box office success, and what did you think of the movie? As always, join the conversation down below.